Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Football Shirt Social, your weekly YouTube and now in all podcast platforms show about the wonderful world of football shirts. I am of course your host Tony Jameson, joined as always by my co-host Si Maggio. Today we have ourselves a guest, another one, and this time we've got ourselves a very special guest. We have journalist, sports journalist, author, actual author, and football shirt connoisseur, Mr. Joe Crann. Joe, how are you, pal?
I'm good. Thanks very much for having me. This is it's a good opportunity for something to speak about something that's very, very niche, but that people who do like it are very passionate about.
Oh, we've found that, to be honest. We've said a few times on the show that whenever we've approached people with going, hey, we're doing this show about football shirts, do you want to talk about it? Everyone goes, yeah, of course we do. We want to sit and chat football shirts, and we've had no no's, and we've been very, very blessed with the people who've agreed to come and talk to us. So yourself as well. We should say for viewers and listeners, a little peek behind the curtain as to how this one came around. Joe, it's only a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? You posted up on your Twitter feed a picture of an incredible South Africa shirt. And Si and I were in our sort of debrief or sort of Discord discussion or whatever, going, who should we get for the next couple of months? And the second you posted that, I went, Joe needs to be on the show.
So that shirt I've been looking, had been looking for ages. It's obviously a massively iconic shirt for South Africa. It's the one that they won their one and only AFCON in 1996. There's obviously the great picture of Nelson Mandela wearing it, lifting up the trophy. And I'd been looking literally for years trying to find one. And I wandered into the classic football shirts in Manchester. And I saw it, and I was like, "Yeah, we need to have a word." It's an extra large. It doesn't fit particularly well, but those shirts are weird, man. You know, like before there was any sort of tapering or anything, it's like box. It's great for folding. This is a niche thing. You know, when you're folding football shirts now and they don't fold properly because like the back's longer than the front, and it's just untidy. Whereas that is a full boxed out football shirt that is literally, I think, two pieces of material just sewed onto each other. I don't dare wash it, so I don't wear it for long periods of time because I am terrified that if I wash it, it's going to fall to pieces. Because it is actually a shirt from '96. It's not a remake. It's a shirt from then. But yeah, that's very high up on my favourites in the collection. And with Bafana getting off the mark in starting their AFCON tournament, I thought I'd roll it out.
Yeah, it's. I'm just sort of seeing. So, have you got a picture of it to show up on screen by any chance? Because we don't even need to do the hellos at this point. We'll do that in a second. But when I saw this shirt, I was like, we've got to talk about this. It's an absolute, like, just anger seems like too little a word for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just got everything going on that you need, and we should put some context as well as to why South Africa, because obviously you've spent a long time out there working.
Yeah, a third of my life out there. I spent 10 years out in South Africa. Moved there when I was 21. So obviously I have a massive affinity to that country, and obviously that shirt. There's so much around that '96 AFCON. You know, with apartheid that had happened before, Mandela had just been appointed. The team was a very mixed South African team. It just meant so much to everybody. And it really helps that the shirt's an absolute belter as well. Because it's not just like an iconic shirt because it was an iconic tournament. It's an unbelievable football shirt. And it's the Le Coq Sportif recently did a sort of a homage to it for this season, and I made sure I picked one of them up as well because that's also great.
Yeah, Si's just popped it in the chat. Si, do you want to chat through this one?
Yeah, this is Joe's one. This is Joe modelling it. Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Like, what's the material like on that? It's like you can see the little print in the background as well. It's all like the kappa. I tell you what, it does feel like I could see Venezia chucking that out next year.
That's a shout, right? Isn't it?
It does look like a bit like a Venezia top, with the colours as well. Something very similar. Although, yeah, I can see what you're saying about the box shape. Like, look at the way it hangs under the arms and the sleeves, and then it just like tucks in a little bit around the waist.
Well, Joe, is there part of you? And I'm going to say it now, by the way, like, awesome on the weight loss that you've done. You look fantastic. Like, is there part of you now that when you bought that shirt, you were going, I could have kept a couple of pounds on here, and it would have been grand?
No, because it's such a weird fit that, like, it's an extra large. So this bit under the arms is really baggy, but then the bottom is quite tight, so it doesn't fit around a big arse. So I had to lose weight for it to hang properly, but by losing weight, it now looks like I'm wearing a bin bag sometimes.
You know what it is as well? It would look, and I'm really sorry, I'm never one to advocate for this. Okay, so feel free to clip this moment, Si. Because of the boxy nature of the shirt, and because obviously 90s revival retro is back in. Oh, God, I hate the fact I'm about to say this. It almost feels like it needs to be tucked into jeans. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could get away with that. And I'm like, I hate the fact I just said it out loud.
What, with a big leather belt on as well?
Yeah.
I need safety pins under the arms. That's the big thing.
Oh, man, that is just, honestly, I think that's got to be one of the best kits we've seen on the show so far. Like, I know Alex brought an absolute cracker in when he was on the show, but I mean, Jack had a good one as well. But for that to be an original, that's going to take some beating, right?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've seen this shirt before. What year was it? 96, 94?
Yeah,
94. Yeah. So yeah, 96. So yeah, what did they wear it in 96? Was in
the African Cup of Nations. Yeah, they
won the AFCON that year.
Yeah, so they hosted it. It was one of the first big events they held after
apartheid.
Obviously, with apartheid finishing, with Mandela coming in as president, they had the Rugby World Cup, which was a massive thing. They won that.
Yeah, the rugby was big.
To win the AFCON was huge for them. And yeah, they've not done it again since.
It does have the vibes of a rugby shirt. If I saw that and you asked me, is that a football shirt or a rugby shirt? I would say that looks like a rugby shirt to me. And I want, with the way the collar is, with the way horizontal stripes is normally, there's few exceptions, but normally horizontal stripes are more common in rugby than football. Obviously Celtic is a notable team that doesn't have the horizontal stripes, but
I've just pulled the South Africa team up from the final, and obviously then the rest of the competition as well. I mean, it's just it's a who's who in it for South Africa. If that team didn't win it that year, like, they were never going to win it. You've got Lucas Radebe in there. You've got Mark Fish, of course, Eric Tinkler, Sean Bartlett, Big Phil Mazinga. I mean, this is your team, innit?
Was some of these in the Blackburn team at that time? I'm trying to think of.
I don't think Blackburn. There was
Mark Fish.
Andre Orange was one of them. Yeah. Mark Fish, Sean Bartlett both played for Charlton, but this is long before that. That was early 2000s. Right? I think at this point, a lot of them were probably still playing in South Africa.
Playing in South Africa, Cape Town Spurs for Andre Orenza, Sivwe Motwang, Neil Tovey, Linda Buthelezi, Dr. Kumalo.
Linda Buthelezi had a reputation for being a very, very tough tackler.
He got sent off. So, yeah, very, very tough. Dr. Kumalo and John Moshuo as well.
Yeah, so Shoes Moshuo, Shoes died a few years back. But so Doc and Shoes are... So Dr. Kumalo, they used to call him 16V because it's like an engine. Mm-hmm. For many, Dr. Kumalo is up there with the greatest South Africans ever made in terms of football. And then with Shoes played till he was like 42, something like that. He was still going for a long time. And yeah, those two specifically are right up there with sort of like South African royalty. You've obviously got guys like Lucas Radebe, and Lucas obviously did his thing in Europe. But with Doc and Shoes, most of their careers, they did venture abroad a little bit, but most of their careers were done in South Africa. And I think that's why they're sort of held in such massive regard over there. There's a brilliant photo. You can probably find it on the internet somewhere of Dr. Khumalo like kissing a football in midair, during a game. It's just it's perfect.
The only, and again, if we sort of do that crossover into the other world that we all share a love of Football Manager, South Africa. I can't think of South African Football Manager without thinking of Leobang Makwena, because he's just sorry, the Cheese Boy. Explain the Cheese Boy to me.
So Cheese Boy in South Africa, I mean, it's like they call kids who grow up quite rich Cheese Boy. And I don't know if with Mokoena, if it was like I won't want to say it wrong. So I don't know if it's because he grew up with a bit of money in sort of relative terms, or if it was because he was so sort of rich in quality on the football pitch that was why. But yeah, it was like Chapman 0304, was it? Or 102. He was just unbelievable.
Just absolute dynamite. We did a thing for another podcast that I do where we had a countdown of the Champman and Football Manager legends, and he was on there. And I was just like, and I thought, like, when I put him on, I was like, I need to message Joe about him. We need to have a chat about McQueen because he's so good, so
yeah.
Good.
When I when I visited South Africa for the first time in 2006, I got a Pirate shirt with McQueen on the back, McQueen 23, because that was his number. It got lost somewhere along the way. I've been trying to find that shirt again, just to try and buy it, but I've not had any luck yet. But yeah, I got a Chiefs one and a Pirates one. I got Motung 7 on the back, which is Kaiser Motung Jr., the son of the owner. So he played for him at the time. And then I got McQueen on the back of my Pirate shirt.
Nice.
You've just reminded me of Aaron McQueen, who took over captain, but I don't think they're related. He played for Portsmouth and he played for Blackburn, so that might be why I was thinking of Blackburn. Yeah, but he was obviously much later. He replaced Radibi as the captain. Yeah, no. Okay, so they're not related. But yeah, Radibi was it Leeds? That was where Radibi was.
Yeah, Lucas. Maybe there's a bias there because I am now friends with him, which is mad. But Lucas is, at one point for me, was probably one of the best, I'd say top 3, top 5 centre-backs in the world. He obviously had, I think Ferguson tried to sign him at Man United and he said, nah, not for me, thanks. And that's why he's loved so much at Leeds.
Yeah, stuck to his guns, didn't he? So we'll come back to something that you have just mentioned because it's very relevant to what you're currently wearing. Si, I haven't done a proper hello, buddy. How are you? So we'll do that very quickly. How are you? And we'll ask the question, what are you wearing as well while we do that?
Yeah, I'm good. If you watched last week's show, you know it was my birthday the day after last week's show, although it had actually already happened by the time the episode had gone out. So, and I was ill. So, yeah, but it just so happens that I was fine last Sunday, very ill Monday through Wednesday, and then like still a little bit ill up until today, really. And then I'm fine again today. So, perfect timing. I'm good. Thanks.
There we go. Excellent. And what's the shirt you've got on today? This is one of the ones that you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I think, isn't it?
Possibly. So this
is a design that we talked about.
Yeah, possibly. So this is a Zamalek away. I think it's the away. I think the home is like a white one with a which has like the Egyptian hieroglyphs on it, which is also very, very cool.
Very quickly, for our audio listeners, Sai has just moved his microphone in front of the shirt so that you can't see it on YouTube. Never mind on audio.
Yeah. So it's got like now I'm not good at star signs, but it's got like a star sign. Is this Aries? Aries maybe.
I'm not sure, but it's obviously the one that's on the badge. So
yes. It's also on the badge as like in an Egyptian version, and on the back it's got the player name and number. That was a classic football shirt.
Oh, you got Shikabala on the back. Nice.
Yeah. So every they had loads of these classic football shirts. Every single one had Shikabala on the back. But yeah, it's an Egyptian team. So I was like, I'm going to wear an African shirt today for the discussion. Actually, last week I wore the Namibia shirt. Ahead of Namibia's match. Actually, I think they ended up drawing against, who were they playing? They're playing Ivory Coast or something like that. Was it Ivory Coast? They drew a match they should not have drawn. No, it was one of the big teams. on Tuesday. Anyway, I mean, there's been loads of shocks in the AFCON so far. The big teams are really faltering. And so I thought I'd wear... But and I was looking through my kits. I was like, actually, Egypt. Like, we always forget that Egypt actually, we always think in sub-Saharan Africa, but there are those North African teams. I thought I'm going to wear this one, the Zamalek top, because it's a really cool top and I really like it, and I don't wear it often enough.
Excellent. We should say as well, by the way, that's the and I've had to Google it. The star constellation is Orion. By the way, just
Orion. There we go.
and I should have known that because you can see Orion's belt if you stand up. You got the belt on the bottom as well. So there you go.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, while you were talking, I went and checked on the Cheese Boy thing because I didn't want to get it wrong. So the reason they call him Cheese Boy is because it's township slang for you can afford to put cheese on your sandwich because cheese is expensive. And the reason is because he made his debut so young, he had money from a young age because he was a footballer. Because he made his debut at like 16 years old or something like that.
I think we've learned more in this episode than we've done in the last 10. This one.
I don't know. I did the football shirt history episode. I learned a lot that one.
That's true. Sorry, Alex.
Yes, no. I mean, that was also that's like a less football shirt, more a wider cultural thing. That's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. We'll come to you last, Joe, if that's all right, because again, it'll tie into what we're going to talk about. I am wearing now again, I'm going to pronounce this one wrong. I know that. Chapecoense shirt, which is a Brazilian team. I suppose it sounds horrible to say. Probably most known for the 2016 plane crash, where of course they lost most of their squad and staff, and obviously there was questions marks about what happened for the rest of the season. There was 71 of the 77 on the plane sadly didn't make it back. This is the 2020 shirt. So this shirt has a bit of significance because it's the shirt they wore to get out of Serie B into Serie A. They got themselves promoted. So fantastic. It's an Umbro shirt, which means it fits. Yes, it fits. It's a large football shirt that fits like a large football shirt is meant to do. And you know what? It's got some details on it. Let me show you this, okay? So, like, obviously, design-wise, look at all that. Lovely bit of pattern through the midriff, loads of nice triangles and so I presume cubes or rhomboids, depending on how you tilt it over.
Classic Mexico, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've got a lovely little sort of thing down the bottom here, which is quite nice. See that?
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Sort of little club badge type thing.
Yeah. And then in the top, you can see in the top as well, this feels like Hummel almost, like where the sort of chevron or diamonds, can you see? Yeah.
There's just like little chevrons going down the sleeve for audio listeners.
Yeah.
But they're not quite Hummel ones. They're like on their side. If you turn the Hummel ones on their side and alternate them.
And then again, we have to do the back as always. So we have to do the back. So.
Oh yeah, nice at the top. It goes all the way around, wraps all the way around, and on the top there's a nice little badge as well, which is cool.
No arse detail on this one, which is pleasant. Should say as well, I need to do a shout out on this one, and it's going to make me feel a little bit of a bell end at first, but I'll explain why. Okay. So shout out to the Kit Collector UK on Depop. This is a Depop purchase. It is an original. I was like, is this original or is this a replica? He's like, no. It's legit. Don't worry. I was like, all right, cool. Let's get it bought. And then I went to sort of do my bits and bobs, and he went, just one quick question. Are you Tony Jameson, the football manager guy? I was like, yeah. He was like, all right. He goes, I used to listen to the podcast during lockdown. I went, oh, cool. Yeah. He went, yeah, I still listen to Rich and the gang. I was like, so you know that I left that podcast then and didn't mention the new one.
Have you told him you got a football shirt one? You got to tell him you got a football shirt.
I did. I said, obviously, I've got the football shirt show now. I said, and I've also got a new Football Manager podcast, which you clearly don't listen to, and
the one in between as well.
I was like, but I'll wear this one on the new football shirt show. So, Kit Collector UK, if you're watching, this is it. 5 stars. There's your feedback. You've got it. So, and he's got some good stuff as well in his collection. So yeah, I'm well happy with this. Well happy indeed. And that badge is a belter, proper good round.
Yeah, good badge that.
Plastic printed on. So yeah, there you go. That's me. I've gone Brazil today, Joe. What about yourself? We've already had a little tease of it off camera, and I'm excited with this.
This is It's a remake. So this is from mid-90s Orlando Pirates. Their one and only CAF Champions League title came in 1995, and this was made as like a and to celebrate that. So they've got the little star above the badge, which is for winning that. The badge is the old style Orlando Pirates. It doesn't look like this anymore. It's similar, but it looks a bit different. And then with the sponsor, if you can see there, that is it's the wife of the Orlando Pirates chairman. It's her charity foundation. So that's on the front.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's pretty awesome.
And it's also the retro, all these kind of Adidas stylings and stuff in there. It's just really smart. And then you got just the foundation stuff on the sleeve as well.
Well, that's
nice. I like that idea.
Yeah, that little attention to that's quite a lot of text to put on a shirt. They don't normally put that much on a shirt. But I like the attention to detail.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. That's a really, really smart. We were talking about Adidas a lot last week and how they've really sort of like stepped their game up, I think. And then going back to the old retro things, I think they're leaving Nike a little bit behind, I reckon, at the minute. And you go into the old retro stuff.
With the retro stuff, without a doubt. The retro stuff that Adidas are doing, and because they're doing it consistently now, people basically they saw a market, didn't they? They saw everyone's going after these old shirts. Let's start remaking them.
And all the fakes that are out there and stuff, which I mean, yesterday. Yeah. So I went to an indoor market yesterday. Those who might have seen on my Twitter already. And at this indoor market, last time I went, which was probably about a year ago, I went in, there was like a retro football shirt stall. And this indoor market, there's like a place at the front where you pay. And then all the stands in the market they're not manned. Like there's no one stood there. So you go pick up what you want, and then when you get to the front, you hand it in. But it's all different sellers. So the retro football shirt person had gone. I was a bit disappointed. I did find another one that was really cool. A guy who had loads of football scarves, and he'd taken some of the football scarves and knitted them into jackets, which was really cool. Not something I think I would wear. I have got a picture of it that I'm going to have to find and put out there somewhere. I think they were maybe a bit over the top to wear in public, but they were certainly very cool. But then I got further around and I thought, there's a retro football shirt stand, and I went up and it's called like retro remakes, right? And I looked, and there was a Holland, Netherlands, not 88 or 90, which is the iconic one. And then there was some there was like a Juventus this season, and then like some retro Man United ones and some new Man United ones, and a couple other quite a few Italian teams. I think a Sao Paulo one. And I was looking, I was like, these are all fake. And they're being priced at £35. And I was like, because the Adidas like retro stuff, they've remade that thing officially now. That's why I came onto it, because you can go get a proper version of the remake. Or they did at one point. I don't know if it's still in print. Whereas, like, it just annoyed me that they were. I mean, the fact that they were selling them for 35 quid as well annoyed me a little, because I know you can get these off Chinese websites for 15 quid or whatever. They've certainly started to remake those ones, because people were going out and starting to have to, because there is only so many of those shirts out there and they don't last forever. At some point things will get lost in fires or water damage, or just lost to time, or they just don't look as good. So at some point they're going to have to, through the washing machine. So at some point they're going to have to, either remake them themselves, or people are just going to turn to fakes. Yeah.
What's the what's the shirt market like in South Africa, Joe? Because I know, like, I've spoken to people who are sort of big fans of like foreign football clubs and that, and they say that it's not quite the same as it is over here. Like, there just doesn't seem to be that. Like, even some clubs don't even have like club shops until like the last 10 years or something, where it just seems bizarre for us that's a thing. I mean, what's football shirt culture like in South Africa?
Well, I think what you got to remember is that the expendable income over there is vastly different, and also the people that are going to football games. People talk about it being a working class sport. In South Africa, it's a working class sport. To the extent where, I mean, you look at football shirts are still expensive, so you're looking at sometimes over R1,000 for a football shirt, which is 50, 60 quid. That's a lot of money for people for especially your average South African football fan. So it is tough. There are a lot of fakes on the market, but what you do find is shirts get worn for years and years and years, and it's not done as like a look, I'm wearing this retro football shirt. It's done because this is my Kaiser Chiefs shirt, and I've been wearing it since sort of 2012. Those kind of things. You don't find not many teams have got club shops. You can buy a lot of the stuff from the retailers. From the kit producers. So Umbro are great for it. Like if you go on Umbro's website, you can, not just with South African, but generally Africa, like you can buy a Botswana shirt from Umbro and that kind of thing. So that is one way to get about it. And you practically all of the main chains that have got football teams in South Africa. So Nike haven't anymore because they just left Kaiser Chiefs. Well, Kaiser Chiefs and them separated. But like Adidas, Puma, Kappa, all those kinds of brands have got their own little. They've got their stores where they sell their gear. But yeah, not that many football teams have got their own shops because it's just not worth it for them. It's not worth the outlay. And football shirt culture is interesting because you also have a lot of British football teams. Loads of Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. Obviously, growing Man City now. You still got quite a lot of, Barca and Real are still huge over there. So football shirts in general are massive, but you don't tend to find too much of the retro scene there. It's a lot more modern. People want to get the latest, want to get the latest Man United shirt or whatever it might be. But yeah, the South African shirt culture is interesting because some of the stuff for a long time was just kind of made for the teams. There wasn't necessarily shirts you could buy. So some teams don't want you to have shirts because it's seen as like it's bad luck if people can get their hands on your gear. And I know of some teams in South Africa that have. Well, I'll tell you a story about later when I went to the Congo with TP Mazembe and the way that people are with football shirts. But yeah, it's an interesting culture and they're absolutely football mad over there. But yeah, it can be difficult to get your hands on them sometimes, and you have found a lot of the clubs have kind of gone their own way now. So there's quite a lot of clubs that are with either in-house stuff or they found local brands that will make their kits for them. And that's kind of the way it's gone over there.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, to be honest. And I think, the reason, of course, I asked it was predominantly because of the difference in disposable income. And that will, of course, play a huge sort of part in whether or not there is, not necessarily appetite for it, but then, of course, the actual logistics of making it happen, I suppose, really.
What I do find amazing is the amount of times I go to festivals in the UK and there's a Chiefs shirt or a Pirate shirt. And they're everywhere. And every time I put it on social media, like obviously if I see a guy in a Chiefs shirt, I'll ask him for a picture and I'll say to him, look, you probably don't know this, but you're going to go viral in South Africa in about 20 minutes. Because it's with every time, without fail, if I post a picture of a British guy in a Chiefs or Pirates shirt or a Sundown shirt, for instance, it pops off because they just love to see that their brands are elsewhere.
Well, we'd said just before we'd gone live. I know Si's got some stuff ready for us to share the screens as well. Just before we'd gone live, I was mentioning I've bought this season's Kaiser Chiefs shirt, and I was like, going, "Oh, it's going to come." Obviously, it's not turned up in time for the record, so I'll wear that next week, and I'll look forward to being massive in South Africa next week. There's also as well, I almost bought there's a Swallows kit on classic football shirts. It's about 20 quid, and I'm so close to pulling the trigger on that as well.
Is it the one behind me, Tony? I nearly wore it.
Which one? The purple one?
I've got one right behind me here. I nearly wore it, and then I last minute changed to the Zamalek shirt.
No, it's not that. I think I'll pick it up and I'll show it. But yeah, that's the Chiefs shirt I've just bought there, the new Kappa one.
I've got another Swallows one here as well.
Might be that one.
This is a white one. And
this isn't meant to be a one-upman kind of job, but so I've got there's a few different cup tournaments in South Africa, and at one point they had one called the MTN 8. And the MTN 8 was the top 8 teams in the league all play each other in a knockout, and then obviously the winner wins the trophy. And I think it was 2012, Swallows won it. And I've got a Swallows shirt from that year that's signed by the entire team. And And so that's in my cupboard. I daren't fold it up because it's one of those ones. You see, yeah. So it's that year, but it's the white version. So it's exactly the same shirt, but it's white.
They haven't got that on the website, but yes, okay.
But yeah, so it's signed by the whole team, and the VW, it's like a sticker on the front. So if I fold it, that sticker's going to get absolutely shredded. So I don't dare fold it up at all. It's just hung up in a cupboard because I'm terrified of ruining it.
Yeah, the one that I was going to get is the 21-22 home kit, which you can just see.
This
there.
One here.
That's
interesting. I've got the one I've just held up is the 22-23 away, and the one behind me, just so in case the lighting's not great, is this one, the 22-23 third shirt, which is interesting because they've changed the badge. It only says Swallows on there. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say, fun story for you there. Do you want to know the reason why it says Swallows rather than Morocco Swallows?
See, now this season it says Morocco Swallows again, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
So what happened was Morocco Swallows got relegated. They're one of the oldest clubs in South Africa. So have you heard people talk about the Soweto Derby? So Chiefs and Pirates is the Soweto Derby. The original Soweto Derby is Pirates against Swallows. They're the two oldest Soweto teams. There was a whole thing with Swallows. They got relegated, and they effectively bought promotion. They bought a franchise, and obviously that's against FIFA rules. So they couldn't get promoted as Morocco Swallows. So they had to become Swallows FC, and it's only recently they've managed to get the Morocco Swallows name back. So that's why it was Swallows FC for a few years, and now they're finally Morocco Swallows again.
Like Rangers PLC or whatever it was.
Don't open that can of worms, Simon.
Never mention Celtic or Rangers. Never mention Celtic or Rangers. I wanted to quickly just, if I can get back to the page which has it. You mentioned about the different brands. Normally this website shows it. Here it is, 23-24. So this is the different brands for this season on Cricket Archive. Always, we use them a lot. See, there's quite a few Umbro ones in there. Actually, they have Swallows doesn't seem to be Umbro anymore.
Everyone seems to have their own manufacturer. There's only
there's two in-house ones over here. But then even like Rada, Urban Warrior, Drip, JS Sport, Sizzling Sport, like these aren't brands that we're necessarily familiar with. A
lot of them are local brands, like local to South Africa. So they've sort of reached out to people because it's obviously cheaper and they've got more control over it as well, which is nice. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday for a little while had Elevate, which was obviously their own in-house brand as well. But yeah, I knew there was a lot, but I didn't realise there was that many different brands.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? Like I said, so only to have three teams sharing the same brand doesn't, like, I guess from a European perspective, just seems really crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I wonder if do you think the two things with the Kaiser Chiefs, one is like, obviously there is the Kaiser Chiefs band, and I wonder if like the festival thing crosses over with that a little bit. But then the other thing is, whenever I see a Kaiser Chiefs shirt, because of the Vodafone sponsor, it always makes me think that's like a Man United shirt, but it's not a Man United shirt. So I could comfortably wear a Kaiser Chiefs shirt if I saw a Man United type shirt I liked, but it was like, I don't know, especially when they had Nike and Vodafone. Years ago.
Vodacom's obviously huge in South Africa. It's the biggest phone network. So Vodacom has got a joint deal with Chiefs and Pirates. They sponsor both of them and have done for donkey years. But I think so. The band are named after the football team.
No, I didn't know. I didn't think they were. I just wondered if fans made
they are.
They are named after the football team.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The band, the Kaiser Chiefs. Yeah, they're big Leeds fans. So they saw Lucas's former team was Kaiser Chiefs, and they named the band after him because of that. So that's
future guest, Tony.
Exactly.
This, you're talking about football shirts and like niche things. Probably the best football shirt bit of memorabilia that I have a Kaiser Chiefs shirt from the year they won the double in 2012-13, signed by Kaiser Chiefs, the band.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's like
cool.
That's because I'm an indie kid. That's the one. Yeah, so that's the one I've got. Like that. It's signed by all four members of the Kaiser Chiefs. And yeah, that one again is very safely kept away somewhere.
Oh, nice. I was just looking at the Orlando Pirates one for this year. I quite like it. Where is it? If I can get back to it, here we go. Yeah. This, but like, I normally don't mind Vodafone sponsors on shirt. Or Vodacom it's in South Africa, but like I feel like that one actually ruins it. It's like slap in the middle of the.
It's too red as well, isn't it?
I feel like it should be white. Really,
maybe
If it was white and black, it would look a lot better.
Yeah, it feels very Mexican. I know you're a big fan of a Mexican skull shirt. Like
I've got a few.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's the pirate, theme that they're going for. It's on the badge as well. St. Pauli as well. Although I think is the skull and crossbones for St. Pauli is only an unofficial thing. I believe it's like the fan club.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, all their kits were done in-house as well up until, I think it's maybe this year is the first year that they've gone back out. They used to have Hummel, obviously, but then they went in-house for a few years as well, and they were trying to sort of make sure that everything was all done correctly, which was quite nice. I mean, Joe, you've mentioned Sheffield Wednesday. We'll come out of South Africa for a little bit, and we'll come a little closer to home for you. You mentioned Wednesday. We've seen you sipping on your orange Sanderson cup. I mean, we had Rich Owens on a couple of times on the podcast, who of course is a FM streamer, Wednesday fan, I think comedian. I think you've met actually previously on some shows that we've done before. Rich has waxed lyrical about that Orange Wednesday kit. Anything with the word Sanderson on, he's just like, yes, please, I'll have that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
For you, I mean, what would be your iconic Wednesday shirt?
This one is a big one. I think. I mean, it was like toweling. Like if you ever see one in a football shirt shop, like in a classic football shirt, just go touch it. It's disgusting. It is the worst material, and why they thought that was a perfectly fine thing to make a football shirt out of, I have no idea. But it's a great shirt. It was so like I was about 8 when it came out, I think. And one of my standout memories of that shirt is Benny Carboni in it with his white boots and his hairband in and with his number 8 on the back, which is why to this day, like my lucky number is number 8 because of Benny Carboni. But I think my favourite Wednesday shirt, I've got one as well upstairs still. It was one of the first retro shirts I actually went and spent money on. There was a shirt Wednesday had from 95 to 97, and it is an absolute car crash for a football shirt, but it's just perfect. It's like, so I think the badge is on it 3 times, and they're all different badges. You've got like, there's like embossing in the shirt. The stripes aren't the same size. The sleeves are weirdly long and weirdly like.
I've just pulled it up. Yeah, I know exactly which one you mean.
It's an odd shirt. There's nothing makes sense about it, but it's just ace. And like sort of thinking back, that shirt, that's the one. Why are the sleeves so big?
Well, first of all, I mean, Si, let's do this all between us, shall we? So Joe's mentioned that the badge is on the kit about 4 times. What on earth have they done here, Si? Like, they've got a bit click happy, haven't they?
Yeah, copy paste, just stick it in somewhere. But it's like, you're right. So that they've got SWFC on this side, and then they've got this badge, which, I mean, now that would annoy me, right? You see in the badge, they've sort of gone for the blue with the white stripe down the middle. Then they've put it on top of the white stripe.
It's not lined up.
No, why doesn't it line up? It's so annoying. And then like they've sort of almost done the same with the Sanderson as well. Like they filled in the O and they filled in the A. But then like the O is actually wider than the stripe, I think. That might be an optical illusion.
Well, that SWFC bit on there, I don't think, and I might be wrong, I don't think that it was on a shirt before or on a shirt since. I don't know why it was there. I don't know why it's all over the shirt. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was never seen again.
Yeah, and then there's just all these other subliminated SWFCs within the pattern that, again, different shapes, different sizes, just all over the shop.
It's a brand new badge, actually, as well, that year.
Yeah,
that's a brand new badge. Again, they had the owl before that.
Yeah, I don't think it was used again afterwards.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. So they thought, we don't want the owl anymore. We're going to put 2 new badges on the kit, and we're going to put one of them all over it. And they've gone with that. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, because that's no, that's the same one they have a few years, but they've actually filled it in. Yeah, and then you're back to the owl.
That one is the best one. The one with the black collar.
Yeah.
That one is the smart, probably the smartest football shirt I think we've ever had. Just the lines are the right size. It's just smart. That's a good shirt, but Chupa Chup ruined it.
You don't like the Chupa Chup? The Chupa Chup makes it.
No.
I like that one there, the one that's just above this one here, the 97-98. Again, it just fits with the orange away one. It's nice, it's clean, it's classic. But like we've said a few times, like, how can you get stripes wrong? And Joe, you're right, they've butchered this, haven't they? Like, what were they thinking?
They have, but they've butchered it in the best way. That's a great shirt. I don't know what's going on.
That away.
It's
that way is cool.
What that looks like
as well.
If you pull that one backside, put that green shirt back up on here. So this is for our audio listeners. This is the 96, 97 or 95, 96 away shirt. It's a kind of like a teal, I guess, maybe green. It's got like a nice big collar on there, and it's got what I can only describe as, you know, those Celtic band tattoos that blokes in pubs used to get in the 90s. It's got that, like tribal tattoos around their biceps. It's got that around the midriff and also on your biceps, so you didn't actually need to have one. That seems to be the design for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, they're like big X's. You remember that movie Triple X with Vin Diesel and it had
100% what it looks like.
Yeah, but imagine like they did, and then they did Triple X2. They just put like a squared at the end. Well, imagine they made a third one called it Triple X Infinity, and it just went all the way around and just X's forever. That's what it looks like. It's very it's nice though. I like it.
But what's interesting with this one as well, Joe, is we mentioned before about the badge not lining up on the home kit. They've gone with blue and white on the home kit, but they've not even matched up the teal on the badge for the away kit. They've went, right, let's try and make it blend in, but they've got a completely different shade.
And they've kept the stripe as well. Puma, you're sacked. I mean, I think Puma, we might have to put Puma into Room 101 at some point, Tony.
So by the way, while you've got those up, that yellow and black striped one is an absolute Wednesday classic as well. Chris Waddle in that shirt is beautiful.
That's got a nice lacquer.
It's great.
Puma King in the background.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I think there's certain shirts, 90s mainly, and I think we're all of a certain vintage, aren't we, lads? Right? That you either get your shirt absolutely spot on, or it's the worst thing that has ever come off the production line. There was no middle ground, I think, with the 90s, was there? It was like either banger or what on earth's happened here.
Yeah, there's some shockers out there. I remember Kevin Pressman in that goalkeeper shirt, 96, 97 as well.
That has come up on the show a few times, this goalkeeper one. Rich, this is one. I don't know if Rich likes it or hates it. We were trying to work out what the letters say, but
it's Wednesday.
SWFC, yeah. It took us a while, especially as you've got King like written behind or inside it, and then you've got the badge and the Sanderson on the top of it, and they're all overlapping with each other.
To be honest.
Yeah. But if you go and zoom in again, Si, on it, this is the bit that I love the most about this kit. Not the gaudy design, not the fact that you're clearly in a different dimension, but if you look so close, you can see how padded the shirt is throughout the whole material. That's a thick shirt. That's like wearing like a proper padded...
And you know full well it's got elbow pads as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the goalkeepers
I miss elbow pads on goalkeeper. I miss sleeves on goalkeeper shirts, to be honest.
What do goalkeepers do now? Do they just not care?
No, they're just short sleeves, isn't
it? Well, the ground was normally pretty soft around the goal them days. It was the rest of the pitch where it was hard, and then around the goal it was like a big muddy patch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We've had some really good shirts over the years. I think if you go up to the most recent one, so there's a thing with Wednesday in yellow. It goes back to the sort of late 80s, I think, or mid to late 80s. But Wednesday's kit last season, the away kit last season, is as good as we've had in a long, long time. It's just that yellow and that blue. It's a real throwback to that era. And it was Buchter, I think, was the kit maker at that time. It's perfect. That photo doesn't even begin to do it justice. By the way, it's a far nicer shirt than that photo looks.
It's just simple and clean and classic, isn't it? Like you don't need to. Sometimes you just don't need to mess. We said we did the shirt of the year a couple of weeks ago, and some people loved the fact that our shirts of the year that got to the final were just the cleanest, most simplest shirts that we've ever seen. Some people are going, where's the flames? There needs to be flames and explosions on the case. And we're like,
to be fair, it was the AIK one that won, which was quite a complicated shirt. But yeah, it was against that Wimbledon one, which was just they just gone gold trim and a plain
that Wimbledon shirt, smart in it. If you go back to Kaiser Chiefs, if you can, Chiefs had a 50th anniversary one, which was also gold and black, and that was an absolute beauty. It sold out. You're talking about shirt sales. That one sold out really quick. That's the one. Yeah, that one. It's just a really, really smart shirt. That one.
Yeah, very simple. Like it's a Nike template pretty much, and they've just done gold on it, haven't they?
Yeah,
and I think there's not much. I mean, I did talk about it pre-show, and I've talked about it on Twitter. But I went and bought I was traipsing through TK Maxx, and I went and got. I was like looking for the Japan third. And I said I need to save this story for the show. But I was traipsing through TK Maxx, and I picked this up, this gold Lille top, and like maybe I think it'd be better without the sponsor. Like at least the sponsor's in gold though. And I was like 19 quid. I was like, this must just be an unpopular shirt. And then I went and looked it up, and I was like, no, it's very popular. I like it. It's pretty cool, with the gold lion heads, and they sort of fade. They're like glowing in a way. But yeah, I thought, we have a thing for gold and black here, don't we, Tony?
We do, because it's just clean and classic. That's the thing. I think we're simple folks at heart, to be honest. I do like something that's a bit over the top, but at the same time, give me a classic look. Like Joe, again, we ask everyone that comes on, like, when was the moment that you looked at a football shirt with those wide eyes of going, that's not just apparel anymore. That's a thing. That's a thing of art.
That's an interesting question. I don't know when the point was. But I do remember there was a stage when I was younger. I don't know what age it was, and it's something I've kept up my whole into my adult life now. I stopped buying souvenirs and I went places. I stopped buying tack and I stopped buying like just stuff when I go overseas and go to new countries. I just started buying football shirts. So I have one for every country that I've been to. Sometimes I'll get the city, sometimes I get the national team shirt. There's one that I'm still waiting for. I went to Fiji as part of like a traveling year when I was 20, and I couldn't find a Fiji shirt for love nor money at the time. But yeah, so I've got one for everywhere I went. And I think that was probably where it started for me, like as a major thing. Like I've got shirts from before then. I always like to get a bit daft with the shirts that I got. And again, linked to Football Manager, I would always get like young players on there. So I had like a Mamadou Sakho PSG shirt when he was coming through the academy there. I got Bojan on my Barca shirt when I went to Barcelona 1 year. So like some of them have obviously gone on and done some pretty good things. Some of them not so much. But yeah, that was my thing. Was I'd go to places and I'd get football shirts. So because of that, I've got them from all over the place. I don't tend to. Maybe it's just a space thing. I'm not a casual football shirt buyer. Like I won't buy myself shirts. Like you obviously go and look in TK Maxx and things like that. I won't buy myself shirts because I'm physically running out of space. I've got probably 60 plus, and it's an unnecessary amount of football shirts to have. And if I can avoid adding that unnecessarily, then I'm going to do that. But yeah, I think that was where it first started for me. I went traveling in 2019, and one of the things I said at that point was I'm going to get a shirt for every place I go to, and that's sort of where the whole thing started from.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned a couple of interesting things. So first of all, obviously, that you don't just hoard a load of football shirts and don't buy them for no reason. I mean, don't let my missus hear that, because my Mrs. J is very much a case of you've just started a podcast so you can buy football shirts, haven't you? I was like, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's for tax purposes, mate. You can write them off.
Well, that's the thing. So this is the only reason we film it. Just to be like, look, see, told you I bought it. Right. The other thing that you've mentioned, and Si, I want your view on this as well, because you know how I think you know my view on it. You mentioned first of all that you're wearing a remake of a pirate shirt, right? Now, for some reason, okay, and I don't know why this is. Okay, we've tried to get into. I know why I won't buy fake football shirts, but then we had Trek on, who almost convinced me that it's not actually that bad because you got two kids and that, and football shirts are expensive. Why am I still looking around all the internet going, oh, it's a replica. I'm not buying a replica. But then going, but it's 400 quid for the actual shirt, and going, well, I'm clearly not buying that because I'll get both of my legs taken off me.
I think part of it is, it's the nostalgia of it. Is your nostalgia's for the original, not for a remake that was made this year.
Yeah,
I had a similar thing with when they started remaking all the England kits for every World Cup and Euro. You get basically every
score draw ones.
Yeah, and they're really good. Like they're really good quality, but like with those ones, for instance, they haven't got the Umbro logo on them, so it's not quite the same. Like little things like that, is what I think tilts it for me. I think so. This shirt, for instance, you can't get it. It's not like it's a case of I'm choosing this as a cheap option. It is the option. There is no
the only option. Yeah.
The shirts that Pirates wore in that CAF Champions League successful run back then are not available. You will not find one unless you speak to Jerry Sigosano, who scored the winner. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think with shirts and the way people are with them, I don't know. Maybe I'm sort of not to put words in your mouth or something, but is it down to what that shirt means to you as well? Because I think
it is, yeah.
I have no qualms in buying a remake of a shirt that I like that's got some kind of historical background. But if it's a Wednesday shirt that I've had a couple from the Terrace, and the Terrace are really good with their Wednesday shirts. But there's little things with them where you just think, it's just missing that little bit.
Like I equated a little bit because I'm in this sort of like moment as well where I always go through this every now and again. I always start, for some reason, just occasionally just scrolling through, websites looking at guitars, going, I should really get back into that, and I'm looking, going like, I could buy a Squire Telecaster for 350 quid, but I know that the real one is 900 quid, and that's going to sound so much better, despite the fact that I'm not good enough to play a 900 quid guitar. But I'm sitting going, but why do I pay 300 quid now when I know I'm going to want a 900 quid one in a few years' time, and it's still going to sit and get dusty? Like, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I could just do it, get away with it. Like, I don't need an original 1988 Holland shirt, but I also need an original 1988 Holland shirt. You know what I mean?
I think if you bought an original 1988 Holland shirt, you wouldn't wear it. Whereas if you had a replica, you would wear it.
But I don't wear them anyway. That's the problem. I don't even wear them. I only wear them on a Sunday to record these shows. You
got to start wearing them on your Football Manager streams, Tony.
Yeah,
that's
I guess
what you got to
do. I guess so. But you're right. That would go.
It helps
that would go.
Play football, because that's the main time I wear my shirts is when I play, and it's nice having it. It's a really nerdy thing to do, but. Do you have the same thing, when you turn up to football games, especially if you're playing with people that you don't know, and they're like, "Oh, what's that you're wearing?"
Yeah, I get it all the time. They say to me, "Si, you have a different shirt every week now," and I said, "Yeah, I know." It's sort of partially where it started. In fact, before I was doing the Foot Manager, I played football. Normally there's different ways of working around the teams, and one of the matches I ended up getting into, different groups of people. One of them was on a Friday afternoon, and a guy just sent out an email and everyone responds, and he'd be like, right, you're on the blue team, and these are the people on the blue team, these people on the red team. And when I first started going, I was always on the blue team. He tries to keep the same team every week. I was always on the blue team, and I was fine with that. I got blue Pompey tops galore, and I had a couple of blue England tops, and I think one or two other blue Italy tops I had as well, so I was fine. And then suddenly he switched me to the red team at some point because a couple of the red people left. And I was like, shit, I haven't got any red tops. I'm going to have to go find some red tops to buy and wear. And I was like, so I had to go buy a load of red football shirts. I mean, I think only one of two of them were actual football teams. I think I bought a load of generic Adidas, template stuff. Yeah. That was $5 in Sports Direct. But after a while, I was like, if I saw a nice red one, I was like, a red Roma top, I could wear that. That would be all right.
Yeah, just rocking up to games and people just looking at me going, I've never seen that shit before.
Yeah, there is that in it. There is that. Is there any shirts that you've lost? And I use the word lost in inverted commas. in your history, because I know that my parents lost a lot of mine to a bin lorry when I was younger, and they wouldn't fit, but they'd be worth a few quid if I was to still have them, put it that way.
There's quite a lot of Wednesday shirts I had that I got rid of that I'm a bit annoyed that I did. Like I said, I went traveling in 2009, and when I left, I got rid of a lot of stuff just to clear out space, because I left for a year and then I moved to South Africa. So I didn't just want to like leave all this stuff with mum and dad. So yeah, a lot of it has, it just sort of naturally just went. And I wish I'd known what was going to happen now. Obviously I wouldn't fit in them, even with my weight loss. There's not a chance I'm fitting in them. But they'd have been worth a lot or two, because I had some really good old Wednesday shirts. Kept most of my England ones. I've got most of my England shirts from back in the day. Even though, like I say, I don't fit in them anymore. It's just nice to have, I think, because they all remind me of a tournament and a time in my life and that kind of thing. But yeah, I lost. There's two that I lost that actually lost that I was quite sad about. The one that I lost was the Cheeseboy Mokoena one. I think it might have got left on the side of a pitch at Pitts in Sheffield one week, and someone nabbed it. They obviously knew what was coming. It's probably worth a fortune now. It's been stored up in their cupboard. And then the other one was, I left. Wednesday had a really nice white and gold one for the 150th anniversary. It was all white with a gold trim and gold trims on the sleeves, and it was the absolute beauty of a shirt. And I left that in Red Square in Moscow, because we played a media game. They had a pit set up in Red Square, right outside the Kremlin. They had a media game set up, and I got changed in the thing, and I left it on the side. I managed to find another one of that, thankfully, though, because it was obviously a lot more recent.
Man, you know what? I can feel that. Literally, I'm hearing the story and I can feel it's going, oh no. You don't want that at all.
Very, because it was boiling hot. Someone picked up a very sweaty Elevate Sheffield Wednesday kit. Oh no, it wasn't Elevate. I think it might have been Elevate or Sondico, one of the two, I think. Oh no, Elevate or Diodora, one of them.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you don't want that. You don't want that, right? So let's sort of pivot ever so slightly in. Then you've mentioned Wednesday. We've mentioned at the start of the show. We mentioned about being a sports journalist. We also mentioned author as well. Right now, let's chat. Before we do more football shirt chat side. Do you reckon we should talk about Joe's book? This just brought out.
Yeah, I mean, he's given his time to come on the show. Let's let him talk.
Exactly. Let's at least plug it. So yeah, new book. New book. Is there time for a winner? Sheffield Wednesday's 2023 promotion miracle. Joe, talk to us.
It was a mad season. It's quite sad actually, because I'm 34 now. 33 at the time, and it became very apparent after Peterborough, the second leg, that I had peaked, and it was never going to get any better for me than that night. The book started, me and my colleague Alex at the start. Alex has written a book before. He wrote one about Wednesday's 91 season, which gets brought up about this time of year every year, because it's the last time that a non-top flight football team won a cup trophy in England.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Alex had done one before, and he approached me and he said, look, I'd like to get a book out about this season, but I'm not going to have time to do it on my own. Do you fancy jumping in with me? And I was like, well, I've never written a book before. I don't know if we're going to end up hating each other by the end of this process, but yeah, let's give it a go. And this started off as Wednesday winning their first league title in decades, because Wednesday were flying. They were top of the league. They were, seeing off teams left, right, and centre. And then Forest Green happened, and it all started to go downhill a little bit. We first started to have doubts when we haven't really spoken about this because it's not good for sales. We had started to have doubts. We played Bolton at home and we drew, and it was a bit naff. And we're just like, oh, this free for all title win maybe isn't going to be all we thought it was going to be. We didn't want to write a book about a playoff campaign. Wednesday have won playoffs recently. That wasn't something we wanted to do, especially because it wasn't like a glorious playoff campaign. It was we closed this up and now we're in the playoffs campaign. So basically we drew with Bolton, lost to Barnsley, which ended the 23 game unbeaten run, I think it was. Then we played Forest Green. That went horribly, and I think it was 7 games we didn't win. And Wednesday plummeted, obviously not plummeted down the table, but they moved out of where they should have been. And me and Alex were like, yeah, we probably can't do this book, and that was where we left it. So we didn't write anything. We had nothing lined up. We obviously had the research was there because it was that season, so we didn't have to go back and find stuff. But yeah, then it got to the playoffs. Played Peterborough the first leg, got dicked 4-0, and it was like, oh well, at least don't have to write that book now. And then Peterborough second leg happened, and we thought, oh yeah, there might be something to write. Yeah, obviously we had to get past Barnsley in the final. We got to the final. Obviously, what happened at Peterborough is the most magical night. Against Peterborough is the most magical night of football I've ever seen and will ever see. I could watch England win a World Cup and be front and centre watching Jude Bellingham lift that trophy, and it will not beat that night. And going to Barnsley, so go play Barnsley at Wembley, 123rd minute winner. We got a message as soon as the final whistle went from our publisher going, but you boys better get writing.
Yeah.
And it literally started from there. So we split it up. We had conversations about it and split up who was going to write what. I pulled rank because I'm a year older than Alex. I pulled rank on Peterborough second leg. I was like, you have Wembley, have that. Peterborough's mine. But yeah, so we put it all together in a really short space of time. It was a fun process, and it was really nice because we got to speak to like a lot of different players and things like that. Barry Bannon did our forward, which was ace. And when they did pre-season in Spain over the summer, I went along for pre-season and got the chance to sit down with Barry, Liam Palmer, Josh Windass, Lee Gregory, all these guys, and just sort of pick the brains about the things that happen. And it's so interesting with football how little we actually know and how little we actually see that goes on that we don't pick up on during games. There's a great bit in the book that I hadn't noticed, and it's during that Peterborough game, the second leg. Wednesday are 4-3 down on aggregate. Wednesday take a quick throw in, and it's like sort of by the halfway line, and the ref says, "No, you need to be further down." So the ball, Liam Palmer picked up the ball there from the throw in. The ref says, "No, you need to go that further down." Will Volks takes the throw in, and that's the throw in that leads to the 98th minute equaliser. If it hadn't been for that, Wednesday don't score, and I would never have picked up on that. But Liam told me that story because I asked him if he was meant to be in that box at that time. And he was like, "No, if you go back and watch the footage, I'm not meant to be anywhere near the box."
It's amazing how it's like literally domino effect, isn't it? One thing leads to another. And as you say, without to the untrained eye, it just doesn't make, you don't think about it. But then you're like, oh yeah. Like, I mean, we I suppose on a lesser level, we do it on Football Manager. Like, you see a player give away a foul or give the ball away, you're like, it's going to be a goal. I know exactly what's coming now because I know that is now going to be the knock-on effect, all these other things. Yeah. But to see something that just has such massive ramifications off the back of it, it's, man.
I think I was also writing out my match report for the 15th time because I'd had to keep just scrapping it. I wrote that I've never read back my match report from that day because I'm pretty sure it's an absolute disgrace because it just kept getting
Goal, we're doing it. Oh, hang on, no, we're not. Goal again, right, it's fine, done.
Just terrific. But yeah, it's dead soppy. Like I find myself, even now, because obviously I watch that game back a lot during the book, pick up on all these moments and just get emotional every time. I'm a mid-30s grown up with a professional job, and I'm sat at my own laptop crying about a football game that happened months ago. It's ridiculous.
It's mad, isn't it? And that was just the semi-final.
Yeah, that's the
Wembley don't even come close. Wembley was great, but not even close.
I'll tell you what, League One is such a slog. Like, So I'm a Portsmouth fan, Joe. And so last season we went unbeaten last season for the first 15 games up until November. So we were top for with Plymouth and Ipswich on our tail, and then Sheffield Wednesday caught up and overtook. And then we went and lost 7 in a row. We sacked our manager, got a new manager in, and we went on another unbeaten run. But because of that space in between, we basically bottled not just bottled promotion, bottled the playoffs as well. All the way down in 8th we finished. Ridiculous number of draws in there as well, which didn't help.
Yeah, you drew loads of games, but the game when we played you, we beat you 1-0. I think Josh Windass scored, and he'd been taxi driver for the team because he's got a 4x4, and it had been horrible snow. And he basically got and picked some of the boys up. So when he scored, he did like a taxi driver celebration. They all went and sat down behind him. And I was absolutely certain that day, because you were good at that point. Your unbeaten run was going. You'd picked up some really good results, and it felt like that was the day. You know, in every sort of title-winning season you see from teams, there's a game, and I thought that was it. We beat you to go to Fratton Park, and it can get really obviously you'll know it's quite fractious in there, isn't it? As away fans, it gets really tetchy at Pompey, and to go there and scrap out a 1-0, I just thought, we're going to win the league.
You're very close to the pitch.
Yeah.
And the way Portsmouth is, it's an island, so there's only one way in and one way out, or probably on the train for most people, which is right there. So you feel very enclosed. The away stand didn't have a roof either, which was always great. All the home fans, if it was raining, nice undercover. All the away fans would be absolutely getting soaked.
We're obviously up in the media section, so I'm not in with the away fans. Sadly, I don't get to do that anymore. But it feels it's quite intense. It's an intense place to go, Fratton Park.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to do the same this season. We went 19 unbeaten this season, and we're throwing it away again. In fact, we might do a Sheffield Wednesday and end up in the playoffs. As long as we go up, I don't mind. But that could be what happens.
If you'd said to me last season, second place in automatics or what we did, I'd take that all day long. I'd have liked a league title. It would be nice. But,
it's like that Leicester Cardiff match. Is it Cardiff? The famous
Leicester
one.
The one where they missed the penalty and then they went chased up. Yeah.
And Harry Kane and Jamie Vardy are playing for Leicester. And that Leicester team in a few years goes on and wins the Premier League. Maybe with a few changes.
Playoffs wins are fine. You get a trophy for winning the playoffs. You don't get a trophy for finishing second. So let's be honest. You know what I mean? This is the one that you talk about, right? And I think Wednesday have suffered in League One. Obviously, out of League One now, but League One, of course, gets much more difficult as these bigger historic Premiership teams come further down. Finances hit bad. League One, Championship used to always be the hardest league to get out of, but League One's brutal now. You've had Leeds down there, you've had Man City down there, you had Sunderland, these massive stadiums where, and I don't want to say it disparagingly at all, but smaller teams go into the stadium alike going, we've got nothing to lose. We might as well have a game here. All the pressure's on Sunderland to win. You're the big scalp that day. Wednesday's in.
And that is for every you have that team every year, don't you? And it felt like that was Wednesday last season. The season before it was Sunderland. Sunderland were everyone wants to go and get
stuck there forever. It just felt like.
I mean, Sunderland and Portsmouth in the playoffs every year we'd face each other, and in the final of the Pizza Cup. Mm-hmm. But it's
that nobody takes seriously until you get to the last 3 games. It's like, oh no, we need to win this now.
Well, it was always annoying because so we won it one year and then we lost to Sunderland. We beat Sunderland in the final one year and then lost to them in the playoffs. And then the other year it happened the other way around. We beat them and then we lost to them and then they beat us and we beat them in the playoffs. Yeah. And then but then we lost the final and it's like, neither of us are ever going to get promoted and we're forever going to be winning this stupid Pizza Cup.
But there's a lot of really big clubs down there now. Obviously, last year Wednesday, Plymouth and Ipswich all went up, which I think emptied it out a little bit. But there are still big teams down in League One, and it's one of those mythical leagues, I think, where you just need to get out. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter whether you fluke your way through it, whether you sign a load of old players. there is no right way to get out of League One. You get out of League One. It doesn't matter how that comes about. And like you look at Derby and they're going down. They look like they're sort of pushing on now this season, and they've done it by going with the old hands and bringing quite a lot of older players in, and with the same way that Wednesday did. Wednesday went with the plus 30s and tried to drag it over the line that way. And there's no right way to do it. You just need to get out of it.
I mean, I'm looking now. There's at least 12 ex-Premier League teams in there, so it's crazy. And then you've got teams that are going the other. So Plymouth, for example, have never been a Premier League team. Obviously, they went up last year. Next year, there's a high chance there'll be a team like Wrexham in the division, and that's going to be a problem for everyone because they've got a lot of financial backing. And it's like there are some teams down in League Two where if they came back up, are going to cause some problems. Because I don't think the difference between League Two and League One, I don't think is that big.
It's that parachute money as well, running out as well. When it's like if you end up in League One, I think that Wednesday, Leeds, Sunderland, they did the back-to-back relegations. So you're sort of like, well, at least there's still a bit of parachute money there to try and buy your way back out. But it doesn't work like that. And then when you're there for a couple of years, you're going, all right, now what? Now what?
I think Portsmouth's parachute had a hole in it. It was on fire as we went down because we went all the way down to League Two, and we were bottom of League Two with like 3 games to go.
Problem is,
just about escaped.
Problem is, Harry Redknapp had his arm on the parachute going, all right, I'll do your deal. I'll do your deal. Is that parachute on fire? It'll be fine. Don't worry. Right, I'll tell you what, very quickly, before we start to look to wrap things up. Joe, we mentioned before we started that Si and I, every month, treat ourselves to a surprise football shirt. And you were going to be the independent arbitrator as to who's bought the best shirt this month. So for people who, of course, haven't seen the show before, we set ourselves a budget of 20 quid, nothing groundbreaking. And we just go and we treat ourselves. So first month, I bought Si a San Diego Loyal jersey, which was very, very smart, very lovely. Si bought me a Indy 11 goalkeeper kit. So it was interesting that we both went North American lower leagues for that. Last month, Si bought me what looks like this was my Christmas present from Si, by the way. It was meant to turn up. We've had a big laugh about this one. This is the Hoik Gingerbread Man T-shirt.
Oh, Bella.
Yeah. So there's a clip of me online going, I look like Mr. fucking Tumble with that one. So I got that, which was great. And a Sampdoria shirt with Ray on the back.
So, Ray. Yeah, it was we knew we've tagged Sampdoria shirt. It just so happened that someone had the name Ray printed on the back and then removed, but it had left the residue, so it still looks like it says Ray on the back of it.
But yeah, there's a belt. I appreciate that.
I've got an Al Ashley shirt from when I went to Egypt for the 2013 Champions League trophy. So Champions League final. And I wanted an Al Ashley shirt at the time because they're huge, obviously, over there. Like one of the biggest football clubs. I think the most successful football club in the world. I wanted a Al Ahly shirt with Abu Trika on the back because he's the most famous player. He's a big deal over there. But they run out of letters to make Abu Trika's name. So rather than say, no, we can't do that, the dude started chopping up letters for me. So like the Abu Trika on the back of my shirt, like one of the O's, one of the U's is an O with part of the O cut off to make a U. It's unique.
Did it look like someone trying to do a password? You know, when you change like the letters to numbers, so it's like he's got Al, so it's like the L is a 1, and then like he's changed an S to a 5.
I think one of the A's is a like another. I think it's an O with the bottom cut off, and then a part of it. Something else stuck in between.
N on the bottom.
I'll send you afterwards.
I'll tell you what, if anyone's after bargain shirts, on Whatnot, there's one of the sellers who gets these kind of shirts where there's a misprinting or something. So I like this PSG shirt. Now, PSG shirts normally go for quite a bit of money. Newer tag there. It's a genuine one, so you can check the tags. Yeah. Warren Zaire Emery on the back. If anyone knows how Zaire Emery is spelt, it's missing an E on the end of Zaire. So it went. So instead of being a 70 quid shirt, 15, and then this one equally, Bayern Munich's this season again, genuine on the back. There's just like you can see there. There's like where is it there? Like a little thing in the printing of the 3. It does look like they've chopped it up like your one, right? So again, like 12 quid that was instead of the 80 quid a normal Bayern Munich shirt would be for this season. Yeah. And I'm like, people are like, who wants that? It's got like I'm like, I don't care. Like no one's going to see the back, even if they do. No one is going to question that, are they? Like, even Zaire Emery, do people really remember Zaire Emery? Like maybe in 10 years when Zaire Emery, because we all know he's a Football Manager wonder kid. Maybe if he's the next Mbappe, but probably not. And this was the other. I was just holding this for a little bit. That's the other one Tony got me last month. So Metalist Kharkiv Ukrainian shirt, long sleeve, Adidas, very nice Adidas stripes on it. So those are the mystery shirts that we've had so far.
Yeah. So Sai, do you? Thank you. Right, Sai, do you want to go first? Because I'm conscious I've spoken a lot on this week's episode again.
Yeah. Was it this one? It was this one. I just took the label. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming like a surprise shirt style box. So. Yeah. Well, maybe they just ordered it from surprise shirts.
I bought Sai a pizza this month.
I mean, you look at the color; that could be a pizza. So it's an Admiral top. Interesting. Oh, okay. We got a national team. Look at this, Granada FC. I did get a Montserrat shirt recently, so this will go with the Montserrat shirt. That's nice. I like the coloring in that.
I think it's the away one.
Lyle Taylor plays for Montserrat.
Ooh, I don't know. Montserrat.
I think Lyle Taylor plays for them.
Let's have a look. Montserrat national football team. Who is in the national team? Joey Taylor.
Let me see.
Lyle Taylor does play for them as well. Yep, you are right. Actually, a lot of them play. All of their team plays in the UK, except for one player who plays in UAE. So that's that's cool, Tony. Yeah, I like that. And I don't think I've got any Admiral shirts. So
it was one of those ones where I saw it and I was like, I could have done that by myself. To be honest, I've not got any Admiral shirts either. But
I didn't know they were still making shirts.
I think they're owned by Umbro now.
So the interesting thing with the score draws, I was going to mention this earlier, the score draws, if any of the score draws are from Admiral ones, they do, we're saying the Umbro ones, you don't get the Umbro one. The Admiral ones you do. So I wonder if Admiral gets licensed out. Although this might not be, do you know what season it's from, Tony, at all?
I don't actually know. Let me have a quick little look at it. It's Grenada, isn't it?
Yep.
Because the material doesn't look that old.
No, I think it's a fairly new one.
It's subliminated, the badge and the logo. 2016. I can see it's the 2016 away. It's the top rated Granada kit. Although I quite like that 2021.
2016 is almost a decade ago now.
15 to 18. Yeah. They had it for 3 years. Do you remember the days when they had 3-year kits? Oh,
I wish they'd bring it back for home shirts because I think it's fair on fans. I like the fact that they have, like Brentford did it, didn't they, recently? Like the fact that you can buy a shirt that costs you £80 and actually wear it for 2 seasons. I think it's much better that way.
Yeah.
So interesting.
We had Nathan Kane, who's a Brentford fan, on last week, who spoke about that, and he was, again, 100% the same. Sorry.
Admiral only makes one team's kits now, which is Jabilo Owata in the J League.
And it's a belter kit as well, by the way.
Yeah. I lied. They also do the Walthamstow kit, which
that's the one that I love as well, isn't it?
Yeah. They do Dagenham and Redbridge. They do Volos. I mean, that's weird. You're right. It must be an Umbro thing, but if teams request, they can take the Admiral branding or something instead. I don't know. There must be something weird about it, right? Or it might be like, it could be a licensing thing, like someone owns the... So, like with Hummel, if any of you have seen the hashtag United stuff with Hummel, but basically, hashtag United don't sign with Hummel in Denmark. They sign with like an agent who has licensed out Hummel to make Hummel kits in the UK, which is why they got screwed over, but not by Hummel, by like this middleman who owned the UK's version of Hummel's license. And apparently Hummel were actually pretty good about it and like helped them out a bit, but they didn't get paid for all their kits and stuff.
They're really good, Hummel, I must admit. I know I'm a big Hummel fan, but they are really, really good, and they do try to look after as many teams as they can, and they're not one of those ones who go, oh yeah, we're just going to do a deal. They do try and have a foster a relationship if they can.
Well, I think what they did for all the UK teams is I don't think it didn't work out with #United, who've now gone to Adidas again. But like Coventry, for example, with Hummel. There's a few Southampton with Hummel.
Sunderland
I think
next season.
They signed them on direct with Hummel in Denmark now instead of via the UK middleman. So I have to wonder if like it's a situation like that with Admiral, like someone in Japan has the Admiral. The ability to like sell teams Admiral, like
right, okay.
That could be it. I don't know.
Don't know. Right, I'm gonna delve in here. I've got the.
This is perfect, by the way.
It's the brown envelope, by the way, so it's not a pizza box.
Pizza box.
No pizza box. Is that red and black? Red and black. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I've got a logo. Hang on, 2 seconds. Oh, all right. Hang on.
Let's see if Joe knows. I reckon Joe will know what this is.
I think so as well, actually. Can you see that?
You'll have to hold it back a little. No. You're too close. You're too close, further away.
Is that Ugandan or Kenyan or something like that?
Kenyan. AFC Leopards in Kenya.
Yeah. AFC Leopards. Look at that. It's a hell of a badge, mind. So it's felt. It's clearly stitched underneath, but it's got felt over the top where it says "Ours Forever," with obviously the big leopard eating a football. I love the collar. Collar's fantastic. Little sort of hidden button underneath that, so it looks like nice and clear there. But then under there is the button, like what you'd get on a nice jumper. Yeah. Very, very sort of thin material as well, sort of like aerated. So you're going to not sweat loads in it, but it's going to cling to you very nicely. Bit of shirt detail as well on the sleeve, which I presume just means it's legitimate. So yeah, that says Twitter verified. It's extra 14 quid a month to get that on. And Jevova. I don't think I've ever seen that as a kit manufacturer, but
it's an Italian one. I've got a few Jevova kits.
I like that. I really like that.
They might have even done Palermo kits for a little bit. I think I've got some Jevova Palermo kits.
I'm a fan of that.
I didn't know Joe was coming on this week, so getting you an African football team was kind of you know.
Yeah,
a good choice,
mate.
Honestly, that's a belter. That's a belter. So, Joe, you've got the deciding vote now. I think this is a tough one.
It is a very tough one. Go on, Oldham Belfort. Let me see them side by side.
We've got Granada FC, so a national team. Ooh. The Admiral, Jevova,
I think I'm going to go for Granada.
Okay. Well done, Tony.
It's a good fight.
I'm the winner, really, aren't I? Yeah. I think that makes it 2-1 to Tony now on the shirts.
I think it does, doesn't it?
They're both really nice shirts. Your one, Tony, reminds me of QPR had their black and red striped shirt, didn't they, a few years
ago? Yeah. Shades of flamenco as well. That's what I thought it was when I saw red and black. I was like, has he got a flamenco shirt? I was like, okay, this is where we're going to go here. But yeah, I am a fan of a hooped shirt. So yeah, I like that. That's cracking, Si. Thank you very much.
I don't think the Kenyan Premier League's in Foot Manager yet, unfortunately. So
I don't think so. No. Oh, and also as well, Si knows I'm a fan of collar detail. Spot there, if you can see it, that side. Double stitching on the collar as well. So that's a nice little bit of piping on there, which I like.
Do you know what's funny? I've got a Kenyan work colleague, and I found out he's a football shirt fan. And he's just gone home to Kenya, and he's come back. He messaged me yesterday. He said, "I bought you a Kenyan football kit." He's going to give it to me this week, and he says the best team in Kenya. He says it's the most championship. I don't think it's a Leopards, because I think Leopards are the second most. Yeah. So I think it's going to be the top team in Kenya is. Oh, what's the top team? I've forgotten which is the top team now. Is Gor Mahia, I think, which is in Nairobi.
Oh yeah, Gor Mahia, yeah.
So we might both have Kenyan kids.
Do you remember a guy called Dylan Kerr? He played for Leeds United and Reading. Dylan was manager of Gor Mahia. He won the title with them, I think, and he has their badge tattooed on his leg. He's got football badges all over his legs from football teams that he's managed and been successful at and stuff.
I like that. I like that a lot. But what I like more is the fact that that is not the most successful team in Kenya. So when I go to Kenya, no one's going to be looking at me like I'm some sort of glory hunter, right? So
it's the second most. You're basically wearing an Arsenal kit. The Kenyans.
Yeah, I'll walk around with a Kaiser Chiefs shirt and everybody going, yeah, we know. But then in Kenya, I'll be blending in.
You can do that in South Africa these days because they win fuck all these days.
Yeah. They'll be going, oh, bless them. Look, there's a British person.
Pretty much. Just on football shirts, by the way, before we wrap up. So I said about the superstitions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. SuperSport United played TP Mazembe. TP Mazembe are one of the biggest teams in Africa, one of the richest teams on the continent, renowned for Lubumbashi being a difficult place to go. Mm. And SuperSport United played them in the final of the CAF Confederation Cup, which is the one down from the Champions League, so equivalent of the Europa League. Mm-hmm. And as part of my trip, I was like, I want to get a TP Mazembe shirt because I need it for my collection. Could not get one anywhere, like anywhere. Couldn't get them in shops, couldn't get them anywhere. So asked one of the delegates at the team hotel, because I was staying in the same hotel as the team. I was like, can I get a TP Mazembe shirt? Is there anyone, I don't mind paying for it. I'm not looking for a freebie or anything like that. But do you know I can get one? He's like, nah, no one will sell you one. You won't get one. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, you've come with the team from South Africa. They don't trust you to not do stuff to it. Like they thought I was going to like do some kind of put some unlucky charms on it, or use it for muti or juju or something like that. So yeah, that's another one I don't have. I don't have a TP Mazembe shirt because I couldn't physically get one.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Do you know what the status of the? There's this new tournament coming up, right? It's basically a Super League, but
it's already started.
Yeah, they did a short one, right? The 18 one this year, and then
it's like an invitation. It's weird. It's the African Super League. So it's an invitational tournament at this point. Well, it was for the first edition anyway. But yeah, I'm not really sure on it. It just feels like it's another tournament that we're putting together. You know what I mean? Africa's so hard to get around. I was talking to people about this with regards to the AFCON. I saw people criticising the attendances, and I'm like, do you understand how big it is?
Yeah.
Like, you really grasp the size of that place. I was looking at as an example. I was looking at I think it was. What country was it? It was one of the neighbouring countries to the Ivory Coast, which is obviously where the tournament was. And like to drive from one capital to the other is like 25 hours, and to fly direct, which is the fastest way of doing it. Obviously, fly direct was I think 460 quid for a neighbouring country, and then to fly the cheapest way to fly. Was you could do that for about 200, but you had to fly via Senegal. So you fly all the way to Senegal to fly back down to Abidjan.
Was it from Ghana? Ghana's next to.
Yeah, it could have been Ghana. Yeah, it could have been Ghana. It might have been looking
it's a 10-hour, 20-minute drive between the capitals. Both capitals are on the coast as well, so it's not even like it's a straight line across.
I suppose in those sorts of environments as well, like you can't sort of like chant to the away fans, your support is really shit, because you go logistically and economically, it's not really worth your while coming here. So you sort of just take the chant away a little bit and go, yeah, no one's really turned up. Can't really blame them.
Yeah, if you look at someone like South Africa or Namibia, the teams that are down the southern part of South Africa, of Africa, sorry, like it's a whole continent. The entirety of Africa, you've got to get pretty much all the way up to the top. It's quite far.
But yeah, not all of it that's safe either. That's the other thing.
No. So yeah, having another African tournament, I'm not entirely sold on, but I'll wait and see how it all plays out, because it's all pushing money into African football. So that in itself is a great thing.
I think generating interest in African football could be good as well. Because I think one of the problems maybe in Africa is that, and you can correct me, please do if I'm wrong, but there is a lot of fans of European teams rather than for local teams. Or do they tend to support a bit of both?
You have a lot of both. So my main experience obviously is in South Africa, so I wouldn't want to speak for the rest of it, but most people that I know in South Africa, they are massive Chiefs fans. You know, there's an example: Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns. They're the big three. But there'll be a Chiefs and Liverpool fan. There'll be a Pirates
So
and Chelsea fan. Like, yeah, they all. Well, a lot of them will double up and have two teams, and they couldn't get their head around the fact that I was a Sheffield Wednesday fan. They're like, but who's your Premier League team? I was like, that's not.
They were a Premier League team when I started supporting them.
I guess it's all exposure
exactly,
as well.
They were my Premier League team.
Yeah, and then they go, no, but really, like, I guess it's exposure, and it's like what's shown on TV, what's in the media, and all that sort of stuff, and they'll get access to all that. So yeah, that does make a lot of sense. To be honest, Joe, one of the questions we ask people when they come on the show is it's almost the $1 million question, really. If we were to give you a blank check, and we were to say you can have any shirt you want, it could be the pride of place in your collection. What shirt would it be?
Probably the shirt that Wednesday last won the FA Cup in. I think 1935. I think. Obviously not for any. Well, it probably is worth quite a bit, but just from a personal Sheffield Wednesday reason, it'd be that. Obviously, there's loads of cool ones like recent. Having Beckham's that he scored against Argentina in the World Cup and things like that. But yeah, I think for me personally, a Wednesday FA Cup winning shirt, because I don't think I'll be seeing one of them anytime soon anyway.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick little Google of that one. Is it plain white? It's not even blue and white. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So just loading up there now. So
there's stripes on it.
Oh no, that's the home kit, isn't it? Did you wear white for the final?
Yeah, I think we wore white in the final. I might be wrong.
Oh, okay.
I'm just I'm literally having to Google it as we speak now. So, and I guess as well because of how obviously how old they are, checking what's original and what's not is going to be a bit more tricky. But I think
here you go. Looks like they were wearing this.
They wore white, and it would absolutely fall in our classic shirts of the year. To be honest, Si, in fact, I want the goalkeeper turtleneck. That's what I want. Look at that. That's a proper goalkeeper's kit, isn't it?
Jumper. The shorts as well. The shorts looks like they're all wearing nappies. They're massive. It's crazy.
I saw a really nice. It went up for auction. It sold for a lot of money actually. In the end, there was an original Wednesday shirt from might have been I think maybe the early 1900s, and they had some of the detail in it was unbelievable. It was match worn. You could see it was still like there was a bit of mud on it, like 100-year-old mud. But they obviously had the numbers on the back, but they had little numbers sewn into the front, like a little number 4 sewn into it that was like obviously done by hand and stuff. Just, yeah, really cool.
I like how you said 100-year-old mud, like mud changes over time. It's like...
It must do, surely.
Well, I guess does it turn into more mud? I guess like that's how mud is made. I guess, isn't it? Just loads of stuff over time breaking down. Yeah, but I guess on the shirt that is kind of cool. Like no one's ever bothered to wash it off or anything. What year did you think it was? Player worn shirts. No, this is recent. I'm trying to think.
I think it was 1935, but that's off the top of my head. I'm not sure.
Oh, I found it. I've got it. Here we go. All right. Apologies if this website is I don't know, it's some local newspaper, so we might be all right.
That I wrote that article, so that's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Joe Crann, you're right there. It's okay. We're fine. We're safe. There's the shirt then.
Yeah, so you probably won't be able to see it on that, but yeah, underneath the buttons, there's like a little number 4 sewn into it.
That's mint. And again, that's a shirt that I probably would have worn in the 90s as well, like just wandering around town, not even realizing that was
it looks like a prison shirt, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's good though. I like it. What I love as well is most teams when they play in the 30s insist on having a pocket over their breast for keeping like cigarettes or something in for like during the match, probably.
Trade player cards on the back of their cigarettes. Yeah, half time. Trade themselves instead of giving over the shirt. You could give over. Imagine that. You could give over a Panini sticker yourself.
Pass a business card over. Feel free to keep in touch.
With the way football's going, I wouldn't be surprised. The QR code. Players will start having QR codes on their shirts, won't they?
Here, have my NFT. Move on. Cool. I like that. I think that's possibly the oldest shirt we've had so far, Si.
Ooh, yes. We had the England one, didn't we? 66.
Just nudged Tom out of the way there. I
don't think anyone went for older. I don't even think Alex Ireland went for older. I think he went for Dortmund 90s, didn't he?
Yeah.
So yes, I think you have gone for the oldest so far. I mean, it'd be a tough ask to go older than. Well, you went for the 30s one, not the 1900s one.
Well, again,
it'd be a tough ask to go older than that 1900s one.
Well, again, Wednesday, one of the former, the founding members of the Football League, so you could easily go older. Are they
the oldest team? Is Wednesday the oldest team?
One of, not the oldest.
One of, yeah.
Isn't there this weird argument about it where I saw this the other day? Like, there's a team that claimed to be the oldest, and then apparently they're not.
Well, there's. Isn't there a thing about Stoke? Don't Stoke have a date on their badge that everyone's like, that's not when you were born?
Not true, yeah. Yeah, because isn't it like Stoke Potteries or something? It's like a completely different team.
Yeah, you've obviously got Notts County are the oldest in the Football League. Yeah, they're back in it.
Sheffield FC, not Sheffield Wednesday, sorry.
Sheffield FC, they are the founding football club. Oh, by the way, just go find out their away kit from last year while you're searching. Sheffield FC's away kit from last season with a sash is unbelievably good. It was one of the few that I went and bought.
Is it? How does Sheffield FC sit with like both Wednesday and United fans? Is it sort of
it's like they're like the grandparent because they were first. Like they invented it.
It's not that one. That's okay. Sorry, I panicked for a second, Joe, because I'm going to tell the story now, actually, because now you've mentioned it. That is a Stonewall banger right there. I almost bought a Sheffield FC away kit that has classic football shirts as the sponsor with a sash. And I was just like,
a few years back.
Is this the same shirt about to discuss now?
No, this was last season or the season before, and it's perfect. It's the perfect football shirt.
Isn't it them and Corinthians or something? Like, so they have like, is it Corinthians? I think in Brazil that are the same, or they have a.
It's River Plate.
No. I know the sash is River Plate.
Oh, sorry.
In terms of the age, I'm sure there's something that's linked with Brazil.
I'm not sure. Sheffield FC are categorically the oldest football club in the world, like recognised by FIFA. So
yeah,
I'm looking at that. That's the classic football shirts one with that. Look at the lace-up collar there on a Joma one. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that was an anniversary one. So they obviously brought the lacing back because of that.
I love the fact they're going to have a 200-year anniversary shirt. That's going to be class, isn't it? I know Villa have got 150 years next season, so that's going to be interesting to see.
So what year will that be? Can't be that far off. Yeah, probably is a long way off.
Villa was 1874, so I don't know what Sheffield was, but
we've got 50 years to go.
Yeah, exactly. This podcast will still be going. Like literally, this episode will still be going in 50 years' time. If you had to put one thing into Rim 101, then Joe, what would we be getting rid of? We asked guests for this. We've had score draw kits going into Room 101. We've had shirts that aren't universal sizes, side collars.
Collars have gone in for various reasons. Mm-hmm. Under Armour has gone in. The Dortmund 90s kits have gone in and also been put into the Hall of Fame.
We don't understand why with that one.
I
don't like deep collared shirts, like that come too far down. But I won't. But do you know what I'll put in there?
I think that's in there already. That one.
It's very petty and it's about one team specifically. Okay. Barnsley's kits.
Oh yes, yeah. We were on board with that. They were up
the Evil Knievel shirt.
They're atrocious, and that's not even a local rivalry thing. They're absolutely awful.
They were in our worst shirt of the year. So if anyone's not watched the shirt of the year episode, go back and watch
that. Surely you couldn't have found one worse.
It was for me. It was these guys decided to vote for the Arsenal away kit instead.
Mr. Tumble.
Yeah, that was actually in there, wasn't it? But I've just shared it, Tony. No, this was my number one, and the other two don't like the Arsenal away, so they went for Arsenal away. But yeah, like I don't even like that the stars on it aren't even. They're squashed.
It's grim,
and then the away as well. I mean, the badge. Yeah.
It just made no sense. Like it looks like I think I said at the time, it looks like a sort of knockoff Morocco kit or something. And
tell you what, the third, it's gold and black.
That's quite nice. That's all right.
Although it looks like the collar is the collar. It looks. I think it's just shiny. It looks like it's leather. Imagine a leather collar.
That'd be a bold choice for having blokes running around on a football pitch, wouldn't it? A leather collar.
but I love that. Even if they did have a leather collar, that wouldn't be the worst thing in those 3 shirts.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if that was black and gold with a leather collar, I could get on. I think
if you took away the sponsor, that's a nice shirt.
Yeah, the sponsors, although the sponsor's not the way. I think the way they've done the sponsor on the others is like the fact that they've lent into it being US Mobile and gone for this Evel Knievel stars and stripes rubbish.
Here's a question. Would the sponsor be more palatable if the Puma logo went above the Barnsley badge? Like, because it almost feels like it's too low down, doesn't it?
Yeah, the gap's weird. The spacing's strange.
I mean, we did point this out on Shirt of the Year, but one of the problems is, and we saw another Puma shirt with a very similar design. The way these go round, on the other shirt, the badge is like in the middle of them. But on this one, it's not. It's like in line with the stars. I think the stars were supposed to go around the badge, which I think would have been better. But I don't know.
Absolute guesswork with that one. But yeah, Barnsley kits, I'm happy to stick that in. Si, you?
Yeah, in they go. Get in. That's justice for them not getting the worst kit of the year.
Excellent stuff. Joe, I think what we'll do now, we'll start to wrap up as we've upset the population of Barnsley just there. But thank you for coming on, mate.
So they don't like me after last season anyway.
Well, you can give them another reason for them to dislike, if you like. But no, mate, thank you for coming on. Genuinely, it's been cracking chatting to you. Please do come back again when we'll talk more. We'll talk Wednesday shirts or more South African stuff or African football in general. If people want to find more about yourself, your work, your book, where can people find you?
You can find me on all the social medias at Yes We Crann, YESWECRANN. Everything's on there. I'm an open book with everything. If you want to buy a book, literally buy a book, just drop me a message. Because I've got a few to get rid of still. So yeah, I'll stick them in the post for you. I'll even write a little note on them for you if you want. But if you want, if we can do an episode at some point, and I'll bring all my South African shirts and we can go through them if you like.
I think we need to do an episode where we look at old, African football team shirts, because I've got a couple here. Obviously, the one I'm wearing and Swallows there, but I think we could definitely do an episode on that in the future. We also had some national team. We did have it prepared, but you know what it's like. It's an hour and a half in, so we'll have to save it.
Yeah, I've got most of mine are South African rather than African, but I've got quite a few African shirts as well.
We can chat them all.
Stick them in a pile and we'll go through them one by one. I've got a couple that are signed and things like that. So yeah.
Forget the other countries. South African only is. Convince me.
Right. Have you got your diary with you now? So let's just put that in right now, and then we'll definitely get that one sorted. Joe, obviously, you really, really appreciate your time, mate. So and do, of course, if you are thinking about getting a book, get a book. So yeah, hit you up for there. Si, sorry.
The last couple of chapters are great.
Exactly. No spoilers, by the way. No one knows how it ends. Si, where can people find yourself, pal?
Yeah, I'm writing a book on Portsmouth because this year we're getting promoted. We're going to have the same thing. I'm just going to copy Joe's book and change the name of the team in it.
I'll send you the PDF and just like when you can change all. Just
find and replace. Because we had our 20 game unbeaten and now we're dropping off and we're going to end up in the playoffs and then we're going to win the playoffs. No, Somajo or Somajo Footy. I've got the extra channel over on YouTube if you want the football shirt stuff. And obviously TikTok, everything goes on there. Football Manager and football shirts. And Instagram, I'm trying to do Instagram. I'm trying to pay attention to all the social medias because I'm hip and cool like that. And it's impossible to keep up with them all. So yeah, I try my best. Threads, whatever that is. Periscope, is that still going? MySpace. Bebo. I've got a Bebo.
I have several binds,
Friends with Andy Carroll on Bebo and Aaron Ramsey. If you ever want to laugh, by the way, go check out Andy Carroll and Aaron Ramsey's Bebo accounts.
I think was it what Bebo? I can't. I've already had a mind. My brain just went to that. I was like, no, I can't be a thing. I am not writing a book because, as you can here listening to me, my attention span would not last for an entire book. So I will make a pamphlet.
Tony, you have a book, don't you? Do you not have a book?
I'm part of a book.
Okay.
I was in I had one story to submit to it, and that ended up in there. I did get asked to do a book, and again, we'll talk about that on another podcast that I do. Slightly specializes more in Football Manager. I did get asked to write a book for that, and that was 10 years ago. So that gives you an idea as to how quickly I can write.
They're still waiting for the manuscript, aren't they?
I think so. It also involved me trying to meet a lot of players that didn't exist. So I think there was a flaw in it somewhere, but but we'll see. You can find me on social media, Tony Jameson, and it's Twitch. It's Tony Jameson FM if you want to come and find all that. But more importantly, what you need to do is follow the Football Shirt Social. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave some comments below. Of course, that would be awesome. Subscribe to the channel as well. And if you're on Twitter, it's @FootyShirtSock, because Twitter doesn't have enough characters for us to write Football Shirt Social out. So that's where we are. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, let's say please do like it, leave some comments below. Joe, thank you for your time. Si, a pleasure as always. Take care of yourselves, everyone. We will see you all next week for another episode of the Football Shirt Social. Take it easy, everyone. Bye now.